Haka jinglang ka belum da ka komiti ka thau da ka tanah tourism jong ka Sorkar jela haka jinglam khamat ubak Cyril V dar long Jingthoh IAS director ka tanah tourism kumu chairman na ka benta ban sengam ya ka jing ai jingmut da ki kenhon bat ki senjuk pair kebala penlong haka khat pratrik risau arajar pusau kinong wan simenta ki kenthop nadu kinong yalam ka all khasi Meghalaya tourist taxi association ka all Shillong tourist taxi driver united organization ka new trip tourist taxi association Meghalaya tourist transporter association bat ka sales tourist taxi association Hakani ke jialang ke bala penlong hak state convention center keldon ke jing ai jingmut halog babun kimat ki bai day ba ke jing e ka ba kinong nya kali kamai ki yakendu bat ka bakongsan ke day halog ka reciprocal transport agreement kumbala pentrikam haki wei ki jela bat yakani la pentip do presiden ka AKMTTA uba rigaldus doling haba pentip yakani sigilat patai kubor uba rigaldus kuntup ru uba balajit Tyrwa Kilaong bana kaliang chairman la patha ka senjog ban pha da ka Jingthoh saka komiti habai day bat kani khanang bakan la ban pit bnya bhashwa ya ka ba na kaliang ka senjog kan sapha hakini kisngi ban wan
pring ka katoga meeting ka menne kalong ka ba ya be ya enti bat naga Sorkar hi kala pen be ba ya ka ka bang kwa na kaliang jongki kalong bangin pha ya Jingthoh saki ha ka bai day bat kita ki jing ai jingmut ki jongi lembaki asjan tourist taxi Kidon ki points kita kumbangi la ya thok mane ki ladon khambon hi ka bak ngin ais ko Sorkar kamot ke kum ha po tourism department nyotuli pratli ki ladon kumta ma u hi ro ong ba ngilai penshai na borok khaki ason ki badan mane hang to po ka kamera bangilong meeting u hi la pan ya ka suggestion ula priang ke bangin ai Jingthoh hakini ki singi arsingi ki bangin selira bat ngan pha ru da ka Jingthoh khasi khnang ba ka Sorkar hi ka don kam ban kala da ka phareng ha ka bai dei bat tu Jingthoh ni ki tu jing ai jingmut jungi ha ka badi reciprocal ni ki wiki jing ai jingmut jungi lembaka tourist taxi association ha ka liang jongi ki association ki bangi demand ha bai dei bat ki ban sna policy beri tourist spot kampat sohun khindiat rei kampat don ka jing sohun han rei ha bangi akran meneng la yo hi ta kalenti ka ban khindiat ka ban ka Sorkar ngi hap ai por hiru ka Sorkar makan pej ban khmi shwai ka ta ka jing demand jungi ni la long impat das sohun nut hadu kata 4% hin rei 100% la don hi ka nagalen jungi bangi kermen ba kan sa trikam la ni kan sa pen urlong ya kani ka mat jing dawa jungi hakabai day bat ki tourist spot ban thawi ki policy halor kata ngila ban jaga Sorkar bangi la ong hiru nagaliang jungi ngi de ki drabal kali ki badan hni ki bangi den ba ko feel man kasngi ni khroy string man kasngi ban ong no bangin lek kamai ki ji te nagaliang ngi jongi ru la ong ban kampen kloy ya ka Sorkar namar ba ngi ngim don por ban wan ki kita komiti na kawai komiti sa kawai komiti khnang bangi nyo ban like no ki jing e jing sham jing ja jungi hakaba ya ki jing e jungi kum ginong nya kali kamai em ya ka jing khi ya menta ting ngi don hi ka jing mut banya sakmat halor kita ki jing khi tang balong ya menta ngi ai lat Sorkar bahkan pej khmi swai ta ki Jingthoh ki bai dei halor ki ba ngin sapha ki sha ka Sorkar
pensyai halor ka tu ka reciprocal process bangi pha ka government ma kani ka reciprocal process kolong ba kilabun da ngi pej ya ka Jharkhand ka Orissa ka Delhi Haryana e kilasai ni kata ka reciprocal process apa deng jengki but kumno ya kini ki kota jengki kali kiniat nakawai ka state sakawai ka state de kani ka reciprocal process ru ngila pha saka ngila ai ka jingmut manage po Sorkar ru ban ngila pen ihi ba kumno ban pentrikam te ka Sorkar ru kala kloi hi nakaliang jengki department ru jengi director ru ila kloi hi ban sim ya kata karai jengi bat ka jing ai jingmut jengi te ila pha ingi ru ban pha kita ki soft copy jeng ni ki gazette EA khanang ba inyo ban le ya kata ka study nakaliang jeng ka department jeng ki ma
kemudian ngidon ka jeng kermen da ka bai syang menta ka sngi bat ini ki riurang ba nakaliang jeng Sorkar kemudian long 100% ni kermen hi ba kan urlong ta bangam tip pada haru kanu pada nakaliang jeng ka Sorkar kan pen slam ne la kan kloy ne nakaliang jeng ni tingi kuai ba kan le kloy ke
haba pensya ya ka RTA na kaliang advisor ka AKMTTA ba kermen lang yuria ulong ba kani ka agreement ka dei ka bala pentrikam hasikim bat kumjuru syaki wei gijalla da ka baong ba kani ka agreement kan la bon ra sibun ki Jingthoh ki try jalla bat kan omlong ka bano Shillong ka bai dei bat ki kali kamai ki bawan ru na ki wei gijalla khamtam ka bana Assam nalor ka taw ulong ru ba ki wei ki kenhun ni ki sinjuk ki badan banta haka kam chungo ka perthai kim dei ban snguthu bakla namar dei be thek tang na ka banta ki kali kamai bat kumtaw la kerpat ikiru bakin ai ka jingkersan
akabai dei bat ke ba nakaliang nongilam jongka all khasi Meghalaya tourist taxi association la pan sngo ya ka bedai ba kani ka reciprocal transport agreement kani ka RTA ka bangi ong ka til lingkot kadi ka beladep ban pentrikam hapok kani ka than stilam ngi hapok ka jela Sikkim hapadeng ka Sikkim bat ka West Bengal but lingba kani ka RTA na ka por ka judan ka amendment but Sikkim ru minta kidang don ka jingye penbet thmai ban ngai lingba kani ki babun ka jingmentoi ka wan ya ki try ki driver nya kali ki bade na Sikkim lani na West Bengal ki don laga jong ga jingmentoi kamlum don chu ban ong bakan long no Shillong ya kanu ga jela lani kinu gi driver but kani ka subject yang kumbalong menta ka dei ka banang thumai namar mane bangi wanra ha kani ka committee na kalyang chairman ru ong ba kani ka subject dang dei ka thumai but don kam bangin hab ban submit check transport department nama ka transport department kan hab ban study ya kani ka agreement but kumban shu ong no bala don ba ong ba kani ka Sikkim model ban shu ong no kani kam di ka Sikkim model kani di kabala deb ban pentrekam ma ki babun tli ki jela kumbala benrap kumbala deb ban pensngo kani ka reciprocal transport agreement kadi bala deb ban pentrekam do Jharkhand hapadeng ka Jharkhand bat ko Odisha but hapadeng kini ki jela ngani thu pi yo kadon kanu no Jingthoh bakla ba kan don ka problem ka bede ba kata transit route kani ka transit route kanam don kanu ga jing ong no pi na marla dangi shim kini ki jela ru ki jela ki bahe bani ga jela Meghalaya but lingba kini ki jela phin hapru banya lingba sikibe ru ki jela kam don Jingthoh hangno ru hadu menta kani ka RTA ka dei ga bala trekam ha bat kalong effective kini ki jela but kalawan ra bon ki Jingthoh na mar kani ka RTA ka deiru habede ba khajna ka donru habede ba kumbala batai ki kota ki baki ai ka permit chekini ki tourist taxi badru habat ki kali marhakani ka RTA ki don giliti ki state ki ba kan thup langru wat yaki kali kit marbam sekibi kiwe tenganget ba endangila IT chaka state government but ka state government enda ka shong ban study bhai gani kermen ba kani kan wanra ya ka jingba na kamanta kini ki tourist taxi driver nak ni jela berkumjuru lada ka Sorkar Meghalaya kade banye keren ba ka Sorkar Assam ngangej ba ka Sorkar Assam ru haba ka don ganu ka jing ye sothu jingmot kandon ka jing minto ye baro lang hi markani ong balale shule da ka Jingthoh ka ba kumni kumta hinde ka lingba ka bayaj ye ka motor vehicles act kaba kade ka central act but kidon ki state ki badon la ke jong ka MV act kita ki yat dak ba puli benya ki MV act ke jong ki hi tengange kumba ngila banru mene ka bede ba MV act namta ka jela ka jongi nagaliang ka Sorkar ka pensno ba kidang ya keren menta ya ka ban donno la ka jong ka motor vehicle act hapo kani ka jela Meghalaya ru te kini ki ke bangi pensno but kiwi ki kumbala benrap mene kiwi ki jing habai de bi ki tourist taxi ngila deb ban ya keren lut habashai bat ngange ka department nu kala deb ban note down ki bat menta ka supan nangi tan ka Jingthoh ya ka bangin sa IT kini kisngi ki bansawan
hadu kanu kisnis kam nomor ki dandu ki bakan tho ki ong ba numla ban punan kam ya Sikkim model hadu kanu kisnis kam makani ka Sorkar kan sim nawang sutu kan kalian ki dan ski wiki ki kunhon
pi kani nga ko ban kerpat ikini ki stakeholders ki ba penyaj ki hotel ki guest house kimde ban suthu baklan mar hangnie kani ka Jingdawa ga jongi ka reciprocal transport agreement kanum don kanuno ka ban ongno ka ban kta yaki namar kani gade habi de ki kali sin bangila ong hi kita ka transport agreement tikam de bangin ong bangin kta ya ka kamai ka ji ka jongki kani gade bi thik ka be de ka kamai ka yap ka im jongki ni ki try kali ki kali kamai te ngangej balada kiru ki ai ya ka jingkershan namanta ka Jingdawa jungkini ki try kali bi kinongnia kali ka jingmento ya kiru kan long hi namar haba ki wan ki tourist sani ka jelala ki yo hi de ki local ban yelam chi kita ki jaka jungok kai perthai ki babun ki jingmento nama ka jingsinga nyu ka don ba ka jingtip ru kan kham bon ka jingtip ka ba ki nongwei ki wan ba ka jing sotanat ru kin don hi haba ki yo hi de ki try jela ki ban yelam ki tengange kimde bandu jingkermen but ngam kwa ru bangin syekut tang banya kentho pokilat pathai kubor kum bangalai I mar ngakwa hi balada ki kwa e jingpen shangi kloi banya keren bat kiru klem kanu nu ban ong bat constitute committee namar ni de mangi kani ka association ke stakeholder makiru ki stakeholder idon laga jong kon hon bat kumbalong menta ka eke All Khasi Meghalaya Tourist Taxi Association nu kade kalabde banyo ye jing ithu la kata register of society tanga kini kisngi hi kata hapadeng jongani ke jing yele tengange ba ka Jingthoh jong ka AKMTTA kamdei ban penyap jaya no inoru de di ban imlang hi baro makumbang ilong mentangi ni don ha ka ju ke jelangi de kita ki bangi ong ki Khasi klem da phia jai ban riu hang no noru kade ke bangin hap ya kamai jakpo hala ka jong kari kata kade ke banga kwa ban pensngo ban pensyai seki nga bede begini kamat ko de kiwi kimat ke bang keren du bunsien ngi nga keren ya kata ke jing yeteli hapadeng ke jongi bangin ong ba kiban nang kamai kiban nang yap kata lalanu nuru kamde banja bahan re ba im de bani imlang
nakaliang ba siril vi dengdo ulong bai kijing ai jingmut kibau loyo pediang ulapan de Jingthoh kanang baka komiti kan la ban pebnya bat kumju ru ban yamir jingmut bat katna transport ka Sorkar jela.
Yeah, this was the second meeting of the committee that has been formed to examine the grievances of the tourist taxi associations. So many tourist taxi associations attended the meeting today, including the AKMTTA. There was a lot of discussion, lot of valuable suggestions from various associations. Many of them raised important points of concern that they have, and they also suggested many practical solutions. Obviously, we have to take these grievances and solutions that they have proposed by consulting other stakeholders, because as you know, tourism is a multi-stakeholder industry. Some of them have some suggestions regarding tourist spots, so I told them, please give everything in writing. Once they give in writing, as soon as possible, we will then call other stakeholders like tourist spot owners. Tourist spots in our state, as you all know, are run by community, by the Shillong, by societies, etc. So they also have to be consulted. So we will be consulting them after we get their suggestions of the taxi associations in writing.
Can you tell us what is the main point they suggest to you?
There were many points. There were points on having different policy, etc. And some of them were very practical points. For example, some of them suggested that why don't we have an app? So we decided that yes, from the tourism department we'll come up with an app where we will list all the tourist taxi associations, including the drivers that belong to these associations, so that tourists who come from outside will have one app where they'll have a listing of all the tourist taxi associations, including the drivers and the routes in which they apply, so that there will be information to tourists, and through this information they can be, for example, hired. We also discussed on capacity building. Many of them suggested that there is a requirement of training for the drivers. We are happy that they suggested that. We understand that today the driver is not only a driver. The driver has to also act as a tour guide, because when they journey with the driver, many of the tourists want to know about various places. So tourist taxi drivers also require training in tour guiding. They require training in communication skills. They require other forms of training. So they are happy that the government can provide this training, and we have asked them to give the list of all the associations, including all the drivers, so that we can plan a capacity building and training program for all the drivers. So they have suggested some policy. I told them to give in writing what that policy is that they want in local tourist spots. So they did not elaborate on that. They said they'll give in writing. Once they give in writing, then we will examine, because it involves multiple stakeholders, including the transport department, because they were citing the example of other states. So I said, give in writing what the other states are, what kind of agreements they have. Once they give in writing, we will examine, because transport department also has to be consulted in this, since transport department is a key stakeholder in this. So today's meeting was a discussion. There's nothing decided today's meeting, because obviously these are legal issues, policy issues. They need time, and they need consultation with many stakeholders. As you are aware, the committee's mandate also is to have wide-ranging consultations with all tourism stakeholders, including those who run tourist spots. Hence, like I said earlier, I have requested all the tourist taxi associations to give their suggestions in writing to the government through this committee, to the committee. Once they give in writing, we will examine these suggestions. We will consult the departments concerned, including law, police, and the transport department, who is also a member of this committee. And then we will consult other stakeholders, and then we can then arrive at what are the suggestions and recommendations that can be given by this committee. Right?
When is the next
Thank
meeting?
you.
Next meeting?
Next meeting we have not decided, because we had two major meetings with all the stakeholders. Now we have completed 2 major meetings with all the relevant stakeholders, from tourist taxi associations to the previous meeting was attended by tour operators, by hoteliers, by other stakeholders. So once they give in writing, then perhaps we will have to consult even the tourist spot, those who run the tourist spots. That means the Shillongs and the major tourist spots, especially in Shillong, Sora, in Shillong Padang. We'll have to consult these tourist spots once they give their suggestions in writing. So I'm waiting for their suggestions in writing.
Bam bangi bam dunaki eki batte comment. Namar kata habat thiru atau kau kamlu ka umpnyang kadut pet ya ka sharp plus f ha ka jingsom. Yaki nutrient kumki vitamin bat ka ayan la icon diat bat ka bathau bha kam kata I ka dur jingki mar bam ka jing mat lani ka rukom shed yaki. Balehi banai kita. Kadon ka we ka jing mentoy ba kongsan. Ka kot ka kia. Ka nutrition ba kambha ka jing im ba kambha pendon kam daki mar ba medon ka sharp plus f menta kasni.
Lawan Ra Shafi Lingba ko office jong Commissionerate of Food Safety